Picture a hotel for a second. 300 rooms, 300 toilets. Now picture the water bill if even a handful of those toilets ran all night, every single night, with nobody in the room to hear it. That is real money, walking straight out the door. So here is something most folks never get to see. Down in the maintenance shop of a big hotel, there is a clipboard, or these days a tablet, and on that clipboard is a schedule. And once a year, whether the toilet looks fine or not, a crew goes room to room and swaps out one little rubber part. Costs them about $6. Takes 10 minutes. And that one quiet habit is the whole reason a hotel toilet almost never runs, while yours drives you up the wall. I have been fixing plumbing for right around 30 years. My Uncle Ray put a wrench in my hand before I was tall enough to reach the sink, and this is one of the first tricks he ever showed me. So today, I am going to let you in on the exact part those crews swap, why they do it on a calendar instead of waiting for trouble, and how you do the same thing at home for the price of a sandwich. Because between you and me, that plumber who charges you $150 to fix a running toilet is fixing this exact part. You can do it yourself in the time it takes to brew a pot of coffee. Before we get our hands wet, here is how this goes. First, I show you the part and why it fails, so you understand what you are fixing instead of following along blind. Then, I walk you through the swap, step by step, the same order I would do it standing in your bathroom, flagging every spot where folks go wrong. Number 1, we meet the part. Number 5 is the one that sends people back to the hardware store mad, so do not miss it. And number 7 is a little mistake half of you are making right now, today, without even knowing you are wrecking the very part we are fixing. Plus, I am holding a bonus at the very end that tells you how to catch a bad one before your water bill ever rats you out. Stick with me. 1. Meet the part that is quietly costing you money. Number 1. Let us go straight to the source. Lift the lid off your toilet tank. Set it down flat on the floor or on a towel, not balanced on the edge of the sink. That lid is heavy ceramic, and it will crack if it slides off. A new one is a pain to match. Ask me how I know. Now look inside. Down at the bottom of the tank, there is a rubber flap sitting over a big opening. That is the flapper. That opening is the drain that lets all the tank water rush down into the bowl when you flush. When the tank is full and sitting still, that flapper is supposed to seal that hole shut, tight, like a rubber stopper in a bathtub. Water sits on top of it and waits for the next flush. That is the whole job. Seal the hole. Hold the water. Let go when you push the handle. It is the simplest part in the whole toilet, and it is the one that fails the most. I will say that again, because it matters. The part that fails the most in any toilet is the cheapest one in there, not the handle, not some fancy sensor, a $5 piece of rubber the size of your palm. When that flapper stops sealing, tank water bleeds down into the bowl a little at a time. Quiet, no splash, no sound half the time. The tank level drops, the fill valve kicks on to top it back off, and around it goes, all day and all night. That is your running toilet, right there. And 9 times out of 10, it is this one little rubber flap and nothing else. 2. Why it goes bad and why it is not your fault. Number 2. Here is the part nobody tells you. That flapper did not fail because you did something wrong. It failed because of what is in your water. Your city water has a little chlorine in it, small amount, and it keeps your water safe to drink, so that is a good thing. But chlorine is hard on rubber. Sit a rubber part down in chlorinated water year after year, and slowly that rubber starts to change. It hardens. It gets stiff. Sometimes it warps or curls up at the edge. A good flapper is soft and flexible, and it molds itself down over that hole to make a nice seal. A hardened flapper cannot do that anymore. It just sits there stiff, and water sneaks right past the edge. You can feel it yourself, And this is the part I love showing people. Pull an old flapper and a new one and squeeze them side by side. The new one is soft, like a fresh pencil eraser. The old one feels like a hockey puck. That stiffness you are feeling is the whole problem, right there in your hand. And here is the sneaky bit. It happens so slow, you never notice the day it goes bad. There is no leak on the floor. There is no puddle to warn you. The water goes straight down the bowl and out the drain where you cannot see a drop of it. The first time most folks find out is the water bill, or that faint hiss in the bathroom at 2 in the morning that has you lying there wondering if you are hearing things. By then, it has been wasting water for weeks. I have seen a silent runner add $30, $40 a month to a bill, every month, for a part that costs less than a gallon of milk. 3. The hotel move, replace it on a calendar number 3, and this is the heart of the whole thing. You know the part now, and you know why it dies. Here is the trick the pros use. A hotel cannot afford to wait for a toilet to start running. A runner in room 214 is not going to get reported by a guest who checks out at 8 in the morning. So the crew does not wait and does not guess how much life is left. They replace it on a schedule. Once a year, that flapper comes out and a fresh one goes in, whether it looks bad or not. They call it preventive replacement. You beat the failure instead of chasing it. Now, you do not have to do every toilet in your house on the same afternoon like a hotel does, but you can steal the idea free of charge. Once a year, or every couple of years if your water is easy on rubber, you pull that flapper and drop in a fresh one, $5 part. 10 minutes, and you never have that silent runner again, because you are replacing the thing before it ever fails on you. Here is a little homeowner version of their clipboard, and I want you to actually do this one. When you put the new flapper in, take a permanent marker and write the month and year up on the underside of the tank lid, or high on the inside wall of the tank, where the water never reaches. Now you are not guessing. Next time you have got that lid off for any reason, you glance at the date and you know exactly where you stand. That is the whole hotel system, right there in your bathroom, and it did not cost you a thing. Preventive beats reactive every single time. That one idea has saved my customers more money than any tool in my truck. Real quick, before we get into the swap, if these repairs are your kind of thing, subscribe to the Vintage Pipefitter. Every week, I take one real fix like this and show you how to handle it yourself and keep your money in your own pocket. It is free, it takes 1 second, and it keeps these walkthroughs coming when something breaks. 4. Turn off the water and empty the tank, number 4. All right, hands-on time. And this is where some folks get a little nervous. There is no reason to be. You are not soldering anything. You are not touching a gas line. This is about as gentle as plumbing gets. Look at the wall behind your toilet, down low, and you will find a little valve on the water line running up to the tank. Most times it is an oval handle you turn, or one shaped like a little football. Turn it clockwise, righty-tighty, until it stops. That shuts the water off to this one toilet only. The rest of the house is not affected at all. Now, a word of caution, because I have watched this go sideways. If that valve has not been touched in 20 years, it can be stiff, and the older ones get brittle. Turn it slow and steady. Do not crank on it like a lug nut on the side of the highway. If it will not budge, or if it starts weeping around the stem, stop right there. That is a different little job for another day, and I would rather you pause than force it and turn a small fix into a big one. But 9 times out of 10, that valve turns just fine. With the water shut off, reach over and flush. The tank drains into the bowl and mostly empties out. You will have a little water left in the bottom. Grab an old towel or a sponge and mop that last bit out so you are working dry. Keep a towel on the floor too. Water on tile is slick as ice, and a wet bathroom floor has put more than one grown man flat on his back. Ask me how I know. 5. Unhook the old flapper and the mistake that costs you a second trip, number 5, and pay attention here, because this is the one that gets people. First, The easy part. Look at how the old flapper is attached. There are two ways, and both are dead simple. Most flappers have two little ears, or tabs, that slip over two pegs on the sides of that middle tube standing up in the tank, the overflow tube. You just pull those ears off the pegs with your fingers. Some flappers use a ring that slides down over the whole tube instead. Either way, it comes off by hand, no tools needed. Then unhook the little chain from the flush handle, arm up top. That is it. The old flapper is out and in your hand. Now here is the mistake, the one I promised you back at the start. This is the one that has you driving back to the hardware store with a wet flapper in a plastic bag, mad at the whole world. Flappers come in sizes. The old standard is a 2-inch flapper, and for years, that is all there was. So folks assume they are all the same. They are not. A lot of the newer toilets, the high-efficiency ones that use less water per flush, take a 3-inch flapper instead. Those two sizes are not interchangeable. A 2-inch flapper will not seal a 3-inch opening, period. Water will pour right past it. So before you head to the store, do this. Take the old flapper right with you and match it on the rack. Or measure the flush opening, the hole it covers, straight across the middle, 2 inches or 3. Better yet, find the toilet brand and model, usually stamped inside the tank near the water line, and match the exact part. Between you and me, spend the extra 2 minutes measuring before you leave. It beats a round trip and a ruined Saturday. 6. Set the chain slack, the half-inch rule, number 6. The new flapper goes in the same way the old one came out. Slip the ears over the pegs, or slide the ring down the tube. Hook the chain to the same hole on the flush arm that the old one used. Feels like you are done. You are almost done. But there is one little setting that makes the difference between a toilet that works and a toilet that fights you, and that setting is the chain. The chain that runs from the flush handle down to the flapper needs the right amount of slack, not too tight, not too loose. Here is the rule I have used for 30 years. You want about a half-inch of slack in that chain when the flapper is sitting closed. A half-inch. Just enough that the chain hangs with a tiny bit of give in it, not pulled tight like a guitar string. Why does it matter so much? Too tight, and the chain holds the flapper up off its seat just a hair, and now you have a slow leak on a brand new part. All that work for nothing. Too loose, and it can flop over, get caught under the flapper, or tangle up, and then it cannot seal right. A half-inch is the sweet spot. Most chains come way too long, so if you have a bunch hanging down there, unhook it, move up a link or two, and clip the extra off. Then give the handle a couple of test flushes before you close everything up. Watch the flapper lift, and watch it drop back down and seal. That half-inch is the whole difference between doing this job once and doing it twice. 7. The chlorine tablet trap, number 7. Now let me save you from a mistake I see all the time, and this is the sneaky one, because folks make it thinking they are doing something good for their toilet. You know those drop-in tablets, the ones you put in the tank to turn the water blue and keep the bowl looking clean between scrubbings. I know they are tempting. Toss one in, forget about it. Bowl stays fresh for weeks. Here is the problem. Most of those tablets are loaded with chlorine or bleach. And remember what we talked about back at the start. Chlorine hardens rubber. It eats it alive. Drop one in your tank, and it sits right there in the water all day, dissolving slow, keeping that chlorine level cranked up high, right next to your brand new flapper. You are speeding up the exact failure you just fixed. I have opened tanks where one of those tablets chewed a flapper down to mush in under a year, and sometimes it takes the fill valve seals right along with it. 2 parts wrecked by one little tablet. This is exactly why the hotel maintenance crews will not put in-tank tablets anywhere near their toilets. Those tablets cost more in wrecked parts than they ever save in scrubbing. So if you want a clean bowl, and who does not, use the tablets or gels that hang in the rim of the bowl itself, or the kind you drop straight into the bowl. Just keep the chlorine out of the tank and away from your rubber parts. Your new flapper will thank you, and you will not be back in there in 6 months redoing a job you just finished. 8. The companion part. And the $20 decade number 8. And this is how you start thinking like a pro instead of a guy just chasing one leak. While you have got the tank open, take a look at the flapper's partner in there. The flapper is not the only part fighting the clock. Its running mate is the fill valve, the tall part standing up on the left side of the tank, the one that refills everything after a flush and shuts the water off. It has seals and a rubber diaphragm inside, and the same chlorinated water works on those too. When a fill valve goes, you get a toilet that hisses, or runs on and off in little spurts, or takes forever to fill. A new one runs about $10 to $15, and it swaps out about as easy as the flapper. So here is the pro move. If your toilet is getting up there in years, do not just do the flapper and call it a day. Buy the full rebuild kit. A kit with a fresh flapper and a fresh fill valve together runs you around $20. Do both at once, while the water is already shut off and your hands are already dirty. Now you have essentially rebuilt the whole guts of that toilet for $20, and you are good for the better part of 10 years. Once a decade, $20. That is the whole thing running like new. And let me put the money in plain terms, because this is what it all comes down to. A plumber coming out to fix a running toilet is going to charge you somewhere between $100 and $250, and half of that is just for showing up in the driveway. He is putting in the same $5 flapper you can hold in your own hand right now. Same part, same 10 minutes. The only difference in the whole deal is who keeps the money, and I want that to be you. Bonus tip. All right, you stuck with me all the way through, so here is the bonus I promised you. And this one is pure gold, because it tells you when to act before your water bill ever gets the chance to. Here is how you catch a bad flapper the second it starts to go. The very same silent leak those hotels are working so hard to beat. It is called the dye test, and it costs you nothing but a few minutes. Take the lid off the tank. Drop a few drops of food coloring into the tank water, any color that is not clear, or drop in one of those cheap dye tabs if you happen to have them. Now walk away. Do not flush. Go pour yourself that cup of coffee and let it sit for 15 or 20 minutes. Then come back and look in the bowl. If there is any color in the bowl water, your flapper is leaking, plain and simple. That colored water had no way from the tank to the bowl except sneaking past a bad seal. No color, and your flapper is holding fine. That is it. No guessing. No waiting for a nasty bill to tell you. And I will tell you. Do this little test twice a year, spring and fall, right when you change the batteries in your smoke detectors, and you will never get blindsided by a silent runner again. That is the whole hotel game in a nutshell. Do not sit around waiting for the failure. Go looking for it while it is still cheap and easy to fix. A few drops of food coloring and 20 minutes of patience is all that stands between you and a plumber bill. And ask me how I know which one of those two I would rather deal with. That is the whole repair, start to finish, for the price of a sandwich. If it saved you a plumber bill today, subscribe to the Vintage Pipefitter. Every week I bring you one more real fix like this, the kind of know-how that takes years on the job to learn, laid out plain so you can do it yourself. Thanks for spending time in the shop with me.